Hello guys, it's Ryan Ho back with another video. Today I want to answer the question, what is the best gaming headphone? At least for me, the Epos H6 Pro was my main headphone that I was using before I got the Audeze Maxwell. And now I've been using the Audeze Maxwell a lot for like the past 2 weeks, like every single day. And so today I'm making this video just to see, what the pros and cons of each headphone. Is it better? Which one do I think is better, right? And that's really the main answer. Now, I think there's different type of gaming headphones. There's ones that are made for competitive gaming, in my opinion, and the ones that are made for story mode, right? Because in competitive gaming, you care about directional accuracy, footsteps, how well you can hear them, and all the kind of, separation between the sounds. And when it comes to kind of story mode, I think really just the best like music headphones, story mode headphones, is kind of all encompassing, in my opinion. And those, you just want something that just sounds really, really good, right? So we're gonna do a comparison of these two because, like I said, these are my main headphones. Anyways, please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. And yeah, let's kind of get into the nitty-gritty details about these two headsets to see how they compare. So the Epos H6 Pro, honestly, this one has a really good microphone. The same with the Maxwell. Now the Maxwell has it can like do some noise canceling with it, with some AI type stuff. So it does really well in that sense. But this microphone also sounds really good in the span of gaming headsets. And of course it's removable as well, which is really cool. And I think the color and the aesthetic of this headset is also one of my favorites. I think it just looks really good. Obviously it's more gamery, while this is more, I guess, industrial type of look. So, but it doesn't stand out to me as much as the Epos. I feel like this has a pretty unique type of look to it. Now, the weight wise, the Epos is a lot lighter and it doesn't really hurt my neck wearing it. So it's like more of like all day type of wear versus the Maxwell kind of weighs more. So you're going to feel it on your neck after a while. But one thing I noticed is the pads that came default with the Epos, it wasn't as, comfortable for me, in my opinion. And the Maxwell has these nice, just big leather cups. Like, I don't feel like anyone's gonna have an issue. It just feels really nice and premium on my head. Versus the ones that came stock with this were kind of, rough. They weren't memory foam, so I kind of swapped them out for these Dakoni pads, which I found to be a lot more comfortable, in my opinion. So in my opinion, they both have a little bit of drawbacks in sense of comfort. The Maxwell mainly being weight, but besides that, it's very, very comfortable. And this one being the pads were not as comfortable, right? So, nothing's perfect, but that's just the way it is. So yeah, let's talk about the Maxwell. So the Maxwell has this kind of band on top. I don't really like these bands that much, but I don't really have an issue with them either. For me, this one fits like perfectly on my head and it kind of adjusts it really well. But I do like a traditional band, like the one on the Epos more. Is just what I'm more used to, in my opinion. But it doesn't really make that much big a difference for me. And then this is obviously is a wireless headphone, so it has all those wireless features that the Epos doesn't have, but it's also more expensive at $300 versus this one is, $100 cheaper at like $180, so $120 cheaper really. So that's, a lot of savings you can have if you went with the Epos. Now, the type of like comfort, like I said, is really nice, and it has the additional ability to kind of like swivel and pivot. So it's really good in that sense. It just has a little bit more flexibility in that sense. The Epos H6 Pro also kind of has the ability to kind of be adjustable. So it's really just as good, but maybe you just can't set it flat on your chest. But they both have really good adjustability. So now let's talk about sound. So for me, the sound of the Maxwell is definitely going to be more clear and more detailed. They use planar magnetic drivers and made by an audiophile company. Technically, this one was also made by an audiophile company because like Sennheiser makes audiophile headphones and then that became Epos, but then now they've separated their companies, but whatever. The point is the Maxwell definitely does sound more clear across the board in the notes, and then it also is tuned a little bit better too than the Epos in the sense that like when you're kind of listening to dialogue and vocals on this headphone and instruments in the mid-range, it's just a lot more natural sounding to me on this one. They sound very close, very forward, and they just sound really nice, honestly, in my opinion, on this one. So for music listening type of stuff, I would definitely lean towards this. However, the bass is actually a funny thing because like I feel like the bass on this is probably more like clean and more detailed in that sense, but the Epos definitely gives you a little bit more of a bass boost on the bottom, and it sounds more fun in my opinion. and it kind of has a little bit more of that like physical live like feeling, in my opinion. Like you feel the explosions more than you do on the Maxwell, because there's just definitely more bass quantity in the Epos. So I think that's one of its biggest strengths, and one of the reasons why I like this headset a lot is because it's an open back headphone that has really good bass, which to me isn't, very common. So that's one good thing about this one. Now the mid-range of this one is definitely a little bit more, further sounding. It sounds like the singer or, the dialogue is just like a few feet back than where it sounds like on the Maxwell. And, in that sense, it does, what people call improve kind of the sense of distance in your sounds. Like I would say the Epos H6 Pro definitely has a better sound stage because it's an open back headphone as well. It just has a better sense of depth, in my opinion, and width. So things kind of sound like, or I would say the Maxwell, everything sounds kind of like right here. In the Epos, things just kind of have this wider sounding to them. And it makes things a little bit easier to tell apart, in my opinion, when it comes to competitive gaming as well. So that's something I think the Epos does really well. Now, when it comes to kind of like the treble, in my opinion, it's not really a contest. I think the Maxwell really just has more detail up there in general. So you're going to hear a lot more of that minor details. You're going to hear it a lot clearer, in my opinion, too. But it doesn't mean that this one doesn't have good detail. It's just not to the insane degree as the Maxwell. Because like I said, I think the Maxwell really is the best sounding headset. But like this one does really well in the competitive aspect. So the other things that we have to talk about is what people call imaging, or where kind of your opponents are coming at the directionality, right? So in my opinion, the Epos has, they have angled drivers. So it really kind of helps the enemies sound like they're in front of you in the middle versus like on the side on some type of headphones. And in my opinion, it still does a little bit better job than the Maxwell in the sense of not really the imaging. I feel like they both are very comparable, like telling like the enemy, in front of you, behind you, above you, below you. They both do a really good job. Maybe the Epos is a little bit more precise. Like I'm talking about like really, really, really small differences, like less than 5%, really. Like it's not that big of a difference. But the thing that I find this one to be very good at that I do sometimes miss compared to the Maxwell is like when I wear this headset, where the enemies sound like is always exactly where they are. If that makes any sense, like I never had to adjust or get used to this headset. The second I put it on, everything is exactly where I thought it should be. When it comes to the Maxwell, sometimes I get kind of confused if the enemy is like, distance wise, is they're close to me or are they a little bit further? Sometimes I can't tell that difference. Sometimes I get a little bit confused on the Maxwell, and I've been wearing it for like over 2 weeks, and just sometimes the sound cues just get a little bit confusing to me. But I think it's just because the Epos has a bigger sound stage, so things sound like they're further and closer to you, so that distance is greater. So in that sense, I feel like it's easier to tell how far and how close things are, at least for me on the Epos. And so in the sense that it is a little bit better in kind of competitive gaming because of that, in my opinion. Like I definitely feel like I'm more at home when I wear this one than this one. But like I'm saying like really, really small differences. Like I've been literally wearing this every single day to play games and I don't have an issue. But like if you ask me which one I think is better in competitive gaming, I would lean towards saying the Epos H6 Pro is, in my opinion. But at the same time, I'm not going to say it's a huge difference. Like, oh, you just can't play the game while you're using the Maxwell. Like, that's just not true. The Maxwell is really, really, really good. I'm just trying to pick a winner between two really, really, really good headsets, right? And so that's just my honest opinion. So to summarize the sound, the bass of the Maxwell really has really nice low-end bass. The mid-range is, in my opinion, superior to the Epos H6. But I do think the Epos's bass is more fun sounding, even though it may be less accurate or clear sounding than the Audeze. It does sound more fun sounding, in my opinion. The mid-range goes to the Maxwell, and the treble also goes to the Maxwell. And I think the treble performance on this headphone is good, but it's definitely not as like emphasized on the Epos as it is on the Maxwell, and it just resolves just more and just better on the Maxwell, just flat out across the board. It's just a better driver, in my opinion. So it really isn't going to be better on the Epos, but the Epos does really good in the other span of like other gaming headphones, if you know what I'm saying, like other, you know, like the HyperX's, the Logitech's, like I would still pick the Epos over those. It's just that this headset is just so ridiculous and how good it sounds that it does sound better than the Epos. So in conclusion, the Maxwell is definitely the better story mode and slash music headphone in my opinion, versus the Epos H6 Pro is definitely the better competitive headphone because one, is lighter, and even the directional accuracy I think is a little bit better than the Maxwell. Now, is the difference that big? Not really. In my opinion, I've been using the Maxwell every single day and I don't feel like I miss too much about the Epos. In my opinion, I can use the Maxwell in more flexible scenarios. So, you know, like I'm chilling and reading manga, I can listen to music, and then I can go straight into gaming without like switching my headset or anything. So it's just really, really convenient in my opinion. If you just want really, really, really good sound quality, that's why I lean towards the Maxwell. But it doesn't make the Epos H6 Pro bad. It's just, you know, I think it's definitely laser focused for competitive gaming for me at this point. I'll still wear it if I just want to hear a little bit more separation between my sounds. Anyways, I hope you guys found this comparison useful. Please like and subscribe down below. Helps my videos out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.
I have spike down. C. Reloading. One enemy remaining. Last player standing. One enemy
I
remaining.
didn't hit her at all. You got this.
Decoy.
Oh my god.
Nice play.
Oh my god, you're amazing. Oh my god.
Pretty uncured.
Default.
In the box.
Reloading.
Box.
Power box.
One heaven, one box.
One enemy remaining.
That was
The fadeaway
fucking
jump
nice.
shot. Oh my god.
That was
Cage triggered.
55.
dude, I jumped. I should have jumped.
Spike planted.
Eagle.
One enemy remaining.
Nice. One left.
Ultimate is
Holy shit, Cypher.
Hello? I don't even have a real gun. What the fuck?
Oh my god. You still up here with the classic?
Thrifty.
Oh my.
Last player standing.
Upside and forward.
One enemy remaining.
Okay, cool. Holy shit. Yo, let your minion defuse.
Wingman's defusing.
Clutch.
Good job.
Defenders win.
Wingman, come on, let's hear it. All right.